If we hit 2,000 paid members on this channel, I will give away $1,000 every 30 days. There's a link right down here. Look down there, click the link. It will be in the comment section as the first comment. I will pin it there, and it will also be in the description of the video under the
Alright, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, please. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button, please, so you're notified every time a new video goes up on SouFLoTV. I found this article very interesting in the Jamaica Observer, and I'm going to read it to you. But let me say before I even start that I think that this plan right here would put a bullseye target on many Jamaicans, and this means that they would end up in the line of fire of these armed gunmen and criminals. Not that they're not already in the line of fire, but they would be even more in the line of fire now, and they would be left unprotected, because when you're a citizen playing a cop, you don't get the same protection from the law, and you do not get the same benefits either. Alright, let's talk about this article now, because we're all for the preservation of Jamaica, and some people say, yo, we want good Jamaica back. We're tired. We're sick and tired of the crime and the violence and the violent crimes and the shootings. Gunmen everywhere. Everybody have illegal gun. What can we do about this? Of course, I don't want to be a hypocrite, because I've been one of them who said over the years that the Jamaican citizens need to be armed, which would mean that the FLA would have to do something to ensure that it's easier for the average law-abiding tax-paying citizen to get a licensed firearm with a concealed carry. It is too rigid structured right now, or too complicated, or too time-consuming, or too expensive, or too whatever the case may be, or the way that it's ran, where you have to know who is who, or you have to own this and you have to look this part. Long story short, where I live in the United States of America, you can be a bum on the streets. As long as you're of sane mind and you have your driver's license and you go in, you can get yourself a firearm, a legal firearm that you can use and carry with you to protect your life, right? In Jamaica, that's not the case. But let's talk about this though, because Newton Amos plans to add 600,000 crime fighters. Now, if you ask how the hell he plans to add 600,000 crime fighters, because you know Jamaica is short on manpower as far as law enforcement goes, and that's probably one of the reasons. They don't have enough boots on the ground to respond quickly, to quell some situations. So they're left running around trying to get to most situations after they had already happened. How can we get 600,000 crime fighters on the books, boots on the ground? I'm surprised to learn that there are 600,000 licensed firearm holders in Jamaica currently. That's a lot of guns, and that's legal guns. Given the fact that Jamaica is a roughly 2.5 million, I'm guessing from years ago when I last saw, say Jamaica is about 2.5 million. If 600,000 are licensed firearm holders, let's roll that back to 500,000, and let's say another 500,000 is needed to make 1 million right there. Then there's another 1.5 million. So there's about 2 million Jamaicans who still don't have guns. But of course, we have to factor in those who are too young to have guns, those who outright do not qualify to have guns as well, right? But I think that the population of who has guns already is definitely a lot, and I don't blame Newton Amos for strategizing and coming up with a plan, but I think that this plan will be a bullseye on these citizens. Now, retired acting assistant commissioner of police Newton Amos, he wants cops to automatically qualify for private gun licenses, and for it to be mandatory for civilians who are seeking to become legal gun owners to formally become a part of the country's crime fighting efforts. In other words, this is the only way that you would get your licensed firearm, is if you agree to work with law enforcement. You get it now, right? And I know a lot of people are gonna talk faster than their mouth can go, or their brains are gonna run faster than their mouth can let the words out. But I want you to really think about this. Think about this. In order to get a licensed firearm, concealed carry, you would have to become a part of the crime fighting efforts. In other words, you would have to be working with law enforcement. Is that a good or a bad thing? Please, yes or no, and explain to me why you said yes or no in the comment section. Now, every single person who owns a licensed firearm must be a part of the police intelligence architecture, is what he said. Empower these people instead of giving them these weapons and then them sit down doing nothing or anything. See nothing and hear nothing. This must be a prerequisite. He's saying that this must be a prerequisite. A prerequisite simply means that this is what is required in order for you to acquire what you need. So you would have to be signing up to work with the police in order to have your application for a gun, licensed firearm, be granted to you. If you are not going to be a part of it, then you can't get the firearm, is what he said. Wow. Really? You know, again, I must say, here where I'm at in the United States of America, in the state of Florida, I don't have to be a part of any crime fighting efforts. The police does their job. But then again, the police here are so many in numbers that, you know, they don't have to pressure citizens into, I'll give you your licensed firearm if you help us fight crime. We are out here living our lives. The police governs and polices the area. And when we need help, we are tax-paying, law-abiding citizens. We pay their salary to protect us. So we call them when we need them, and they respond at lightning speed. Here, no deals are made to talk about I must help them fight crime in order for me to get my licensed firearm. I have my licensed firearm, and my licensed firearm is for my protection and my loved ones' protection. Now, Amos, now the ruling Jamaica Labour Party, which is JLP constituency caretaker for St. Catherine Northwestern, he retired at the age of 60 while he was in charge of the Jamaica Constabulary Forces, Area 5. Now, throughout his career in the JCF, he has been in charge of policing some of the country's toughest divisions. He is convinced that having a licensed firearm holder formally incorporated into the police intelligence architecture would significantly address the human resources shortage facing the JCF, them shorter people. He thinks that it would also be good or well for mass mobilization efforts, which he says is needed to win the war against these gun-toting criminals that we have scattered throughout the island. Now, remember this, more than 30,000 people of our people are involved in the private security regulations. More than 30,000 in the private security regulation field. And we are talking about more than 600,000 licensed firearm holders in Jamaica, including pending applications. Now, where else would you get that type of support? And don't tell me you don't want to have those weapons outside. They are out there already. Don't let me, he says, don't tell me that those people are not able to do that work with the police force. Because if they are not able to do that, then they should not be entrusted with that firearm in the first place, he said in an exclusive interview with the Jamaica Observer. Now, again, maybe he's saying that he will hand out 600,000 firearms. Or is he saying that there are 600? Because that's what I'm getting. There are 600,000 licensed firearm holders in Jamaica, and he wants them to partner with the police You know what that would say? Let me tell y'all something. Just the other day, right? There was a community that was under siege by gunmen. And believe it or not, one of the things that the gunmen did was they set up their own checkpoint. And they pulled over and stopped cars that were coming through that area. And they were taking away people's cell phones and searching their... Open your phone with a gun on you. Open your phone. And you have to unlock your phone with your little code or your fingerprint or however you unlock your phone. And they go right into your phone. And they went into people's messages, getting people's last called numbers and stuff like that. Your call history. What you think these criminals were looking for? They were looking to see which one of the citizens were actually in touch with police. So if you don't believe me when I say that this would put a bullseye on a lot of these citizens simply because they want to have a licensed firearm, guess what? They're going to end up having to use the licensed firearm because criminals will be saying, especially some of them gunmen here who randomly just kill and rob. You know what they're going to be saying? Kill him and take him gun off of him. Big snitch boy. Him a work with police. Yes. Right? I think it's the citizens' duty to help to protect themselves and, of course, work with whoever is working with us to clean up the place. At the same time, I think it's a beauty to have a licensed firearm and nobody knows because you have a concealed carry. Nobody knows you have it on you and you come out and you use it. But over time, working with police and knowing that this is the law in the country, if they should make that the law, then everybody will know that, okay, from you have a licensed firearm, it's just like traveling to the US. Anybody you say fly out right now and land in the United States of America, they took the vaccine, right? Okay, so it's the same thing. Anybody you see with a licensed firearm, if this becomes law, this would mean that they work with law enforcement. So criminal are gonna kill you because them don't feel like say you know what I'm saying? You are a bigger threat than just being a private citizen. Now, that's my take on it. The article went on to say that because they, which is the JCF or the Jamaica Constabulary Force, because they don't have the resources to have every single policeman going home with a firearm, it would have been mandated that, he's saying that it should have been mandated that if you become a police officer, then you should be eligible to own a licensed firearm outside of your service weapon. So when you hang up your service weapon when you're going home, you pick up your private weapon and you're armed all the way through. So that when they are off duty, technically, they are able to respond to certain crimes regardless. When you have them, when you give them these opportunities and they break the law and they go off and commit crimes with the licensed firearm, then we will sentence them to long sentences. But we cannot just sit here and basically say that we can't do it because you don't want them to go out there and commit crimes with the licensed firearm. No matter what you do, a majority of our members are going to be involved in crime, and we have some before the courts right now as we speak. Speaking of police officers or JCF, Jamaica Constabulary Force officers, who are before the courts right now as we speak for being involved in criminal activities. Initiate Special District Constable powers under Special Act 2 in accordance with the law. Provide what I would determine an assistance during and in the absence of the security forces. So when police are up on the ground in a certain community, you're going to designate an individual, a citizen who has a licensed firearm to be in charge and can act as a police officer in the absence of police officers being there. That's dangerous, no rotted. Because sooner or later they're going to know who you are. Right? He's saying though that this act must specifically look at those issues of crime and violence, especially violence. Amos reasoned. The necessary powers that are currently in place must be amended to include the legislative agenda that persons who are applying for a gun license, they must consent to become a part of this initiative. You hear what this man's saying? He said they should amend the current laws on the books and put in there the requirement, the prerequisite that persons who are trying to apply to get a licensed firearm must also become special district constable with particular references to the area of concern. They must become a part of this. Lord, me no know. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I understand his intelligence reasoning as far as getting as many guns out there to combat the illegal guns that are out there. But, because one of the things that he's saying here is that when police officers are off work, a lot of them see crime or might witness something happening, but they won't respond and shut it down. Why? Because they become a normal citizen and they don't have a gun on them, so they feel less empowered. So them just left it, make it go on. Hey, me no have my gun on me off duty, and them no pay me no figure flying at this like Superman. Next thing gunman full me up a shot and me can bust one shot to save myself, because I'm a police officer and on duty I have a gun, but me off duty right now and I don't have no gun, so I'm gonna turn my head the next way and make a phone call. Hello squaddy, something not going over yasso, but I can't respond. Sounds good in theory. Sounds good in theory. Let me tell you how this could also backfire. You can have citizens who have licensed firearms who become swollen with power, as in, me govern the community. You know, that kind of a mentality right there. And next thing you know, simple arguments turn into this designated person start shoot people. If you don't do what I say, I shoot you. Write up a report, say you involved with criminal activities. I mean, there's the potential there for them to go rogue. I think trained law enforcement officials should be the ones doing law enforcement officials' job. If you want to ask the people to be more forthcoming with information, because you know sometimes a man gets shoot up on a street, broad daylight, hundreds of people out there, and when police done their investigation, talking to everybody that was out there individually, everybody said the same thing. Me never see a thing. Boy, me hear bow, bow, bow. And next thing me know, me hear, woman a scream. And me going in the direction where the woman a scream, and we see our layout like this, or we see the man layout in the road like this, blood everywhere. Did you see the person who did it? No, you know, me never see who do it still. Me just hear the shot them. Some people around here say them escape on a bike gone round, so that's the the norm, right? That's the norm. But instead of that, he's saying that citizens could jump into action. Boy, me no know. He said the legislative changes, he said, would not only empower licensed firearm holders, but it would also seek to hold them accountable. Which means they would probably put laws in there as well, amend laws in there as well, that says if you're a licensed firearm holder and you use your weapon in an illegal manner, then you get some long extended prison time. I would hope that that would be a part of it. The thing can work, but I think it has to be very well structured, or else these people are going to be, and I'm talking about my citizens of Jamaica, they are going to be sitting ducks with a target on their back. As long as anybody find out, say, yo, you're licensed firearm holder, oh, so that means a blouse and skirt police, a boy I work with an informer, you know. An informer, because they don't call police informer, they call police because police wear uniform and we know who police is. But when you are work with police and you're a civilian, you're considered an informer. That's just so the thing set, and on me, SouFLoTV, make it up. Alright? He also indicated that the FLA should be put in a position to rigorously, listen to this part, you know. He also indicated that the FLA, the Firearm Licensing Committee, they should be put in a position to rigorously assess holders of firearms who already have them licensed, you know, when they seek to renew their license. That means you go in, it's time to renew your license, and now you're going to be subjected to some rigorous dig up investigation into you. they would be assessed to determine if they, among other things, are living up to their stated intention to help the police fight crime. So in other words, if you say you get your gun, right? You decide to say, yes, may I sign up, I'm going to help the police fight crime. But you get the gun because, hey, you just check a block on the application. That's what they want you to say in order to approve it, so you said it. You have no intentions of working with no police, helping no police. Police do them job. You just want to be safe or have a way that you can protect yourself from the gunman them out here. And the next time you go to renew your firearm license, they're going to dig up. How else can they dig up unless they're keeping track? Okay, this is SouFLoTV who has been passing information about the Dandadas gang. Big up to Avil Expressions them about the Dandadas gang round a so and so over Portmore. So he's been working with us for the past year. He's infiltrated their organization and he's passing us information. All right, he qualifies to get his license renewed. A next man come in and them look up on them say, boy, we don't have nothing from you, you know. You're not giving us no information about what's going on in your area. You're not working with us. Enough things happen right around which part you live and you never see nothing yet. We don't think that you deserve to have a firearm. And they'll take the firearm away from you. That makes no damn sense. And that right there is dangerous. So at the end of each year, when you come to re-register your firearm, this is him speaking. When you come to re-register your firearm, the questions are going to be asked of you. Don't you live in this area where a crime was? You see what I say? And people, I didn't read this article before I started doing it now, you know. At the end of the year, this is what he wants written into law. When you come to re-register your firearm, the questions are going to be asked. Don't you live in this area where certain crimes are committed? Where were you at the time that these crimes were committed? So you have to go give all alibi and say, boy, I was at work. You can check my schedule at work. I work at Texaco CC Co. company. Call Texaco CC Co. and they'll tell you, my manager will tell you, and you can see my printout schedule. I was at work on that particular day at that particular time. So I wasn't even in the area, sir. You have to go give alibi like say you commit a crime already and how to clear yourself now. So no, hey, I wasn't there. The man said at the end of the year when you come in to re-register your firearm, the questions are going to be asked of you. Don't you live in this area where a crime is committed? Where were you at the time that the crime was committed? Why weren't you able to intervene? Me granny. Now, you see, this alright, also. Cognizant that some people may not support his suggestion, the retired senior crime fighter understood the importance of thinking outside of the box to formulate measures, he said, that would be able to drive fear into these criminals. Well, I think fear into these criminals would be driven, I think fear would be driven into these criminals if they knew that majority of Jamaicans who are of a certain age does have, more than likely, has a firearm. See, the thing about it is this. Just like in the state of Florida, in a part of Florida where I live, too many people around here don't do too much foolishness. You're not bringing no gun talk to nobody because granddaddy who's sitting in the 1976 Chevy in the parking lot could blow your head off, right? Granny who is 82 years old clutching her purse going into the grocery store, you try grab her bag and grapple her up and knock her down to the floor, she might blow your head off. So we know here that majority of the people here who are able, qualified to own a firearm, they do. Not only that, we have facilities, ranges set up here with instructors where you go pay a small fee and you go learn how to become an expert at using your weapon, acquiring the target, firing properly, and so on and so forth. You learn how to break it down, how to clean it, how to oil it, how to put it back together. You learn how to keep it safe so you don't shoot yourself. You learn how to load and unload. You learn what happens in a firefight if somebody is firing at you and your gun jam, how to clear the jam. I mean, we have those places right here where we live. And they have a specific one that caters to women only. And then, of course, you have all the other ones that cater to both men and women. So if we could establish things like these in Jamaica, that kind of stuff would be empowering the people. That way, criminal would know, say, yo, most of the people, them have them gun. And they're trained to use it. Yes, so we have to be careful, right? Trust me, in the state of Florida, in the part where I live, nobody ain't trying to break into nobody's house here or do any of them kind of something that somebody are going to shoot you out of them house. And if you're doing it, I can guarantee you that you won't last too long in that field of criminality, right? These are the things we need to implement in Jamaica, not force the people to work with police, blatantly sign up, and then checking them with, you have to give an alibi at the end of the year if any crime was committed around the area of your address or where you frequent. Where were you at the time of the crime? Why did you not intervene? And all that. That's too much for the regular citizen. Too much. And I understand that drastic times call for drastic measures, and we are in drastic times. 18 days into the year, and Jamaica has like almost 100 murders already. So we're at a desperate time, and we need some drastic measures, but not this way. Now, according to the JCF preliminary, numbers show that Jamaica recorded 1,463 murders. 1,463 murders for 2021. Or 132 more than 2020. For the first 15 days of this year in 2022, 72 murders have been recorded. That's the first 15 days. In the first 18 days, the number significantly jumped. And I did that on the morning show. And I don't want to quote the number right now because I don't have it in front of me. Now, we're operating in desperate times, he said, and desperate matters or incidents demand desperate actions. I don't think so. I think desperate incidents or desperate matters demand strategic planning and intelligent thought. It doesn't demand desperate actions. Understand? He further reasoned, what you must understand, is that the current war that is being waged in against the state of Jamaica is no longer about the little man. Guns and ammunitions that are reserved for guerrilla warfare are being used against our citizens, and it's against the state, and the state must act. Asked if he thinks that the state would be required to compensate licensed firearm holders for the additional work that they would be doing in the process that he proposed, Amos said that should be accommodated in instances such as court appearance and ammunition replacement. So if you use your ammunition up for kill a bad man, gunman, and you decide to go into court and testify on all these things, you become a police, right? So if you decide to do all that, then there could be compensation there for you. That must be a part of the package, and that's why I say that the legislative agenda must communicate and consult with the relevant stakeholders. What I meant by that was to create the environment and opportunity for compensation one way or the other. Probably it may not be a permanent basis in terms of hours, like what the police and the army do now, is what Amos explained, and he noted that he supports the crime fighting initiative that is implemented so far by the government, but he is of the view that the entire nation would benefit from his standpoint of view if things are done that way. Out of the box proposals, he said, which he said has been spent years thinking about. I want you to leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me what you think about this one. Do you think that they should have the citizens who decide that yes? Do you think they should make it a requirement that the only way you can get a firearm is if you work with the police, and if you're a documented person who works with the police, and year after year, every time you go to renew your gun license, you would have to actually answer questions and show proof of why you haven't been fighting crime enough. Something happened around the area you were at. Why did you not respond? And that kind of stuff. Do you feel that that's something that would work? Talk up. And I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace. It's Eat Good TV, y'all. If you like Jamaican food, but you're struggling to cook it the right way, then here's a channel that gives it to you step by step. You are guaranteed to be able to cook Jamaican food like a real Jamaican from this channel called Eat Good TV. Go over to Eat Good TV, hit that subscribe button, and try cooking one of those meals. She is real calm about how she does her stuff, and she makes sure that you get all the ingredients right. Eat Good TV. Hit that subscribe button over there and tell them SouFLoTV sent you.